Hey there, and welcome to Swiss Round 4 of the Lali-Ho League on the Free Enterprise channel. We have a match tonight between Rexbanner and ndoto. Both are at 1 and 2. It's the last chance saloon for these two players. The winner will toast another chance to advance, while the losers hope to make brackets dries up. My name is Sheep Launcher. I'm here in the booth with Antidale, the man behind the wiki himself. He's had a busy day today, but are you ready for what should be a really good race tonight?
I absolutely am. It should be really exciting to watch these two runners try and stay in active participation of the tournament in order to potentially be able to advance further on. The other one will always be able to continue on playing as many races as they have left, but knows that they just have some drinks available at the Cafe Howdy left for them as participation trophies.
Yep, we want to thank our restreamer Oscar424 who's rolled this seat tonight, and also our tracker Starman. We're all excited to bring this to you. And looking at the flags, these two runners will be competing with, or the objectives. We have a Tellus start, and to get 4 of the 5 objectives, the 2 random ones: defeat Octoman, defeat Dark Elf. So a bunch of boss hunts in store.
Bunch of boss hunts and a bunch of boss hunts that Tella is actually in the vanilla party for. So definitely always a little bit fun to have Tella actually fight bosses that he normally would. Octomam and Dark Elf being when things that you fight when you actually have them. So we'll see what we get. We'll see how fast we get Tella powered up by charging up ordeals or not, and just kind of see what the lay of the land is here. Sheep Launcher, with that Tella start, that does mean we start with exit on the team. Does that change your initial looting, do you think?
It certainly does. Having Tella in the party makes looting Watery Pass, maybe a cheeky Mist Cave, makes looting these kind of out of the way places much more palatable. Tella starts with Exit, of course. He also starts with Blink, which is, if there is some kind of tough fight on Mount Hobbs, could come in handy. We don't see it often, but when it does, it's a lifesaver.
Yeah, could come in handy. Could also come in handy for a really early Baron in play with that blink spell you mentioned. Especially if you get like a nice Sid partner, Sid who can put out some damage and has a bunch of HP. You can get Tella to blink himself and blink Sid, and you can just kind of slowly whittle down that 4,000 HP in that second spot in Baron in. So Tella, even though he hasn't climbed ordeals yet, gives our runners a lot of opportunity to do things a little bit out of the ordinary just from the get-go. It's kind of fun.
Very much so. Tella can have a 1 in infinity chance of casting something useful with the recall ability. Has Cure 2, which is nice when you have no other options. So Tella's a good place to start, and start our runners have. We are underway.
And we have a nice family pairing. Tella with a Spoony Bard getting handed a spoon from that Baigan. Let's go fast. We have a lot of damage in that spoon word.
Yep, in these flags, Eddie can equip the spoon. It's his destiny. It's what he was born to do. That spoon has, 255 attack power, meaning even at low levels, Eddie can start putting out damage right away. His health, HP growth is still as poor as it ever was, but while he's standing, he can do a ton of damage.
Yeah, and you can put that extra agility that Edward gets really on your side right away. I would definitely be looking to loot like a power shirt or a black belt. Just get some extra strength multipliers and get more multipliers that 255 attack power spoon as fast as you possibly can.
Rex parking outside of Baron while in Dodo, going to that Watery Pass. The loot here a little bit better than the loot you might find in Baron, and with that Tella can exit out quickly. There's our Dark Elf in Baron Inn.
Yeah, having a nice drink with Cecil. I wonder what they're talking about. A Dark Knight and a Dark Elf. Probably some dark things.
Yeah, that's a dark brunch for sure. So Rex making a note of that. Doesn't feel confident enough with that Tella and that spoon word to take that on quite yet. The Dark Elf in that first spot only 400 HP, but it does have a little bit extra to account for that dragon form, and there's a much punchier boss behind that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with just taking that information, filing it away, knowing that's something you're going to want to do both for that Cecil and also for that boss hunt. So we'll definitely be prioritizing that as soon as it's reasonable to do. But making a quick check here in Miss Cave is Rexbanner, looking to see what boss we get.
That's a Kainatsu, and Rex gonna take on this fight.
Yeah, that Edward doing a nice 254 damage right away. Kind of do a little bit more here. Kind of make this pretty straightforward, I think. Ooh, and there's that one in infinity chance you were talking about earlier. Tele recalling virus.
1 in infinity times, it works every time.
You love to see it.
And Dodo continuing to loot out that watery pass. Hasn't found a ton, some nice bow and arrows, but none of the really good armor and accessory. Oh, there's a moon veil that'll really help.
Yeah, Moonveil will be really nice later when you get to a really rude, punchy boss. Both runners now found Elven Bows, which I'm more excited about when I don't have Spoonward already. But would be excited if I found, say, a Rosa or some of our other archery contestants here. Ooh, and a defense sword, though. That's really nice. That headband hopefully goes on Edward real fast.
Rex does the exit out of Mist Cave, which prompts my eyes, the goggles do not sing.
Yeah, always fun there. You get a nice bright yellow screen, and everyone is kind of got to rub their eyes a bit. Meanwhile, the divergence continues as Rex is climbing Mount Hobbs to find the character up there. Meanwhile, ndoto continuing to loot, gonna go loot Damsian.
And that's a vanilla Mom Bomb facing off against Forum.
Oh, we have to continue the trend of low power, low HP characters by default. But ones that actually will have good stuff for, because we do have an Elven Bow for that Porum, and she does already come with arrows equipped, so a nice quick upgrade for her.
Yeah, the only problem is she's a little bit squishy, needs a couple levels to get her HP up. 2 hits from Mom Bomb demonstrates that point nicely.
Yeah, you love with these flags that we have here, starting with that Dwarf Kit, which gives you 10 rune rings, and also a wizard hat and wizard robe. Porum loves putting that equipment on, so she can survive pretty much anything that happens in the early game, even though she does only have 110 HP. Eddie also looking a little worse for the wear right at the moment.
Yeah, getting hit hard by these individual bombs, and the Cure 2 is going to come out too late if it was meant for both Eddie and Tella. Meanwhile, ndoto going to dive into the Antlion Cave.
Yeah, forgoing the extra boss and character information from Hobbs, which is something I usually like to get before coming down to Antlion Cave. The XP here isn't great, but sometimes that extra character and the XP you get from Hobbs can really help this out.
Very much so, and if nothing else, it gives you just a little bit more information on your looting, what to prioritize. There's a power staff, which will be, if ndoto climbs Mount Hobbs, he'll find that Porum will really enjoy as well.
Yeah, and this is looking really dangerous. Okay, Rexbanner is going to get through this.
Eddie's not going to get experience, but he does get the character, does get through that Mom Bomb.
Yeah, luckily with Mom Bomb there, the experience is reduced, so Eddie's not missing out on too terribly much. Not too painful to only miss out on the 2,000 rather than the upper 4, low 5,000 that you normally get from that spot.
That's one of those early fights where you take a deep breath and say, okay, I'm in this seed now. Time to get going.
Yeah, Mom Bomb can be very, very rude if you don't have a lot of HP. There are some spots like the Valvalis spot in Tower Zot where that explode is actually super painful if you are rushing up there a little bit early.
If ndoto finds anything with his looting, that might help with that Mom Bomb. A Gaia Drum really helps deal with the 6 annoying bombs at the end, something like a Lip Bolt even.
Yep, I think I saw Boreas picked up, I don't remember who though, but now we've got an Asura here. That Elven Bow that we saw earlier, both runners pick up, would be really nice here, because Asura is a mage, and that Elven Bow does do extra damage to mage-type enemies.
Well, that spoon does 542 damage to Asura-type enemies.
Yes, so not absolutely required here, but would something that when Rexbanner gets here could possibly be useful for him. He'll be able to do just a little bit extra damage, maybe take one extra turn, or one fewer turn. But Eddie just absolutely cleaning that up.
Rex defending Fabul faces off against Water Hag, and meanwhile, ndoto finds the Twin Harp required music.
Yeah, you'd love to see it. You'd love to have that in your back pocket, but also I don't think either runner's going to go immediately there. Even Spoonward is probably a little bit underpowered to take that on quite at this point in time.
Yeah, Tella won't be able to help in there. The magic defense at the Dark Elf spot is very high. So, ndoto going to go to Hobbs, going to probably do some more overworld checks. Meanwhile, we saw the cameo from Anna, and she gets to go away, and Rex has successfully defended Fabul against one blue robe instead of three.
Yeah, a very, very nice thematic Fagul defense there. We get a family reunion. Edward gets his courage back, and we get a pass.
So the King of Fabul so impressed with our defense that he gives us free tickets to his band show. Thanks, appreciate it.
They'll be there all week. They're on a residency.
Rex picks up a karate gi in the left tower there. Can Edward equip that? Give him just a little bit extra oomph there.
He certainly can. He can equip that and get an extra, I believe, +3 strength. And with the bandanas and headbands or whatever that we've seen, would also give Edward some more strength, which would actually totally give him one extra multiplier for the total of +8 strength that I believe both runners have access to, or at least in terms of the headgear.
ndoto tried to toad the bombs, didn't quite work.
Yeah, Vampire might be really good here. Stop is only going to be a single target. This Ice one not going to do enough damage. Vampire would have killed probably one of the Grey Bombs right out and also given Tella some health back. So it'd definitely be something that I'd be really interested to try and get off if I can, if I were ndoto on the next go round. But it looks like it does take a reset. We'll be coming back to that fight in a moment.
Yeah, when you don't have very much AoE damage, that fight, as both runners demonstrate, can be a little tricky.
Yeah, not very much AoE damage and not very speedy yet. Edward is still low level, so still hasn't gotten a lot of his agility gains. He gains agility pretty much as fast as anyone possible in Free Enterprise, but he only starts at 9, and he's only a level 5 character, so it takes him a little while to get very, very speedy. So you're not quite accelerated yet.
Rex does equip that karate gi on Eddie. This Eddie should slice and dice this mage.
Yeah, that's a one-shot.
One-shot Eddie is what we call him.
I thought it was one-note Eddie.
No, he can play all the notes.
We can
He's
play
got
him,
the
but
range.
he just names everything in one. He can always name that tune in just one note.
Well, Eddie's got the range, and he's also got the firepower so far. Rex picks up his harp.
And ndoto ends the Water Hag's existence. Will be collecting a pass very shortly. But also, more importantly, collect some much-needed experience and HP on his team.
Yes, the EXP should make any Hobbs fight that much easier. Rexbanner, meanwhile, heading up Mount Ordeals to get his Tella online, get his Eddie Emporium some extra levels as well. A perfectly logical next play.
Yeah, you definitely want to see if you can get Berserk on one of your white mages, either Tella through completing ordeals or just Porum through getting some more levels. And that way you can go ahead and cast it on Edward and just let him be Spoonman all the way across town.
Is Spoonman a harp song yet?
I don't think it is, and I think that it is unlikely that we will see Spoonman actually make it into the free enterprise. I know that a short while that Pirates of the Caribbean theme was in there, and there were some DMCA takedown notices for videos with that in there, so we kind of stopped having it.
Hmm. Well, copyright law.
Yep. Meanwhile, Ogopogo's here. Ogopogo is not a threat here. We have two people who can cast Cure 2. We've got a whole lot of damage with the spoon. And the physical damage here from the Mylon spot is pretty abysmal.
Yeah, the big wave still does half the damage, but really that's one of the best spots in the game. You can see the Ogopogo. Rexbanner through, gonna cross the other side of the bridge.
And to get to this side, he's got some Baron Guards. And this is actually a great team to get that wave that you talked about, because there's not a whole lot of HP here, so it's going to be real easy to get it back up.
And if he wants to get really cheeky with it, he can try and recall and stone these guards, although Edward will probably take care of that before it comes to that.
Yeah, but the guards do counter any physical attack with size, which we now have a very tiny little Porum, got a tiny little Tella, and hopefully the Edward can continue this all on his own.
Meanwhile, ndoto going back to the Baron Inn, and going for the first time for him, and takes on the Dark Elf.
Yeah, I like the bold play to get Cecil here early to complete an objective. Well, it's going to entirely depend on who the second boss is. That's not the most fun boss, but also not the least, I think. That there's no physical defense here. Yeah, so we can just blink up and go to town.
Yeah, and this spot is slow enough that that the blinks should be able to last for a few hits.
Yeah, now if these bosses were reversed, this would be awful.
Rex, meanwhile, just gets a strength ring from Ordeals, but the climb itself was the real prize.
And we find another lunar snaky dragony thing. Pale Dim is a dragon. Is going to stop dragging his heart around up here though, because is going to be knocked down by that spoon.
No more Pale Dims running around loose in the world. Rexbanner takes care of it.
And
Meanwhile,
Chip Launcher, how do you like Party Rocks?
I love Party Rocks. Come on, everybody, rock.
Rock the party.
So, ndoto has a treasury check. Also could fill out his party if he wants to. The Earth Crystal check is also nice to pair up with that Twin Harp check. So really, ndoto has the entire overworld to see where he wants to go next.
Yeah, entire overworld open, but still no access to the underworld or to the moon. We are guaranteed access underground via either the magma key or the hook before we, without having to go to the moon. So runners still looking for their way underground, looking for their first chance at maybe buying some sirens or coffins anywhere. A lot of ground still to cover.
And interestingly, if I'm parsing this correctly, that Earth Crystal cannot lead to the only way underground, because that Earth Crystal was trapped behind Volvalis.
That is correct. Volvalis, along with Golbez and Wyvern, on the slag set cannot block your only way underground. You will have a way underground except through them. And I assume that we've had a little bit of technical difficulties on ndoto's stream that our restreamer Alska is working to fix for us.
Yeah.
And should be getting it back up as soon as possible.
I'm assuming that ndoto didn't actually get to the end of the game in 16 and a half minutes, that would be a record.
That would definitely be something. There are flag sets and abilities to do that, but this is not one of them. We have not seen anything, I believe, yet, even under an hour on this flag set in a tournament race. There have definitely been some seeds people have rolled and practiced with that have been that fast, but nothing in the tournament quite yet.
Rex gets through that Dark Elf and will take on this Valvalis. His Edward has a couple more levels on and is doing almost 1,000 a swing.
Yeah, and one thing that would be nice to have here would be Eddie in the middle, since this is such a slow spot. And at this point, Eddie is probably 14 agility, maybe 13, 14-ish, I would guess. Maybe a little bit less, but it'd still be faster than Tella is. So it would just give you a little bit more advantage with that spoon in this particular spot. But not required at all.
Nope. Valvalis goes down. Rex will get his Crystal of Earth. And a free heal.
Yeah, we will soon probably be getting a chance of that that treasury, while Asuka continues to fight with Twitch and convince Twitch to let us show ndoto's stream here. That will be happening shortly, I believe.
Yes, do want to give a shout out to our restreamer Asuka424. She not only has to put up with our shenanigans, but she's taking care of everything behind the scenes. Also, thanks to our tracker Starman, clicking all the buttons. There have been quite a few to click so far. We're only 20 minutes in. Already got a bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah, and let's see, I've seen a ninja hat so far in that treasury, another moon veil, a couple of elven bows, the art arrows, power shirt. All right, power shirt, defense sword, real good stuff. Ninja hat also really good. That Cecil's going to be pretty online. Eddie might continue to wear the real good stuff for a little bit longer.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I'd give that about an 8.
But it looks like we do have ndoto back. Is fighting the Nope Noodle, the Canadian, I don't know, contrarian.
Yeah, what's a good word for the Canadian cobra? It's not really a cobra, but it's a kind of snake.
Yeah, I'll allow it. I'll also allow actual Canadians to tell us what we should be saying instead. Feel free to type in chat.
Meanwhile, Rex making that dive into Cape Magnus, going to demonstrate what song will be played. And ndoto through that Ogopogo, tosses the noodle right off the bridge. And we'll take on the Baron Guards, also with 3 targets like Rexbanner did.
Yeah, but some slightly different ones. Does remember to toss his illusion early. I couldn't remember if Rexbanner used the mute spell or used the mute bell to prevent these guards from casting their magic back at you as reactions, which is a really heads-up play. Looks like the ndoto doesn't have that available quite at the moment, so it might be throwing. Would be interested to throw like a stop on one of the guards, because that would also prevent them. Kind of let you really get going.
And speaking of getting going, Eddie's going to get going on his harp to save us. So we got bonus round demissed to the tune of Robo's theme from Chrono Trigger. Meanwhile, ndoto used his Moonveil on that Eddie to get through the Baron guards, but he is through and gets his Strength Ring. And Rexbanner gets the hook from the Twin Harp, as well as an objective.
Yeah, that was a very, very nice Twin Harp all around. And I did like the use of the Moonveil. Was able to also then reflect a piggy off onto one of the guards, which made that a little bit nice, and it did get a stop also as well. So it making good use of items and spells in the inventory to get through that fight.
Yeah, turned a Baron guard into a pig, and then ate bacon with the spoon. Not the arrangement you see every day, but it works for him.
Yeah, and as our tracker Starman points out, that is a fully hard required Twin Harp because of that hook. Not only would you have to do Twin Harp in order to complete Cape Magnus, but you also have to get that to turn into Pinktail. You have to only do 4 of 5, but that's 2 of the 5 objectives locked behind that Twin Harp.
Rex is going to go straight to the Tower of Zot. He will hopefully remember that demist to check it later, because nobody has ever been on stream and forgotten to check a demist.
Nope, never happened. But I do like as long as you've tracked it, kind of remember to mark it down. Hey, go do this demist later. I do like going straight here from doing the harp. I would still like to get a little bit of a better team. Yourself some bosses to find and hunt. Want to find that Octomam. Octomam could be up here because we have 2 bosses here and 2 characters plus another key item check. And we do get deposited right back outside of Baron, which is pretty darn close to Mist. So overall, I like the play.
Very much so. It's the efficient way to go. And ndoto almost ran into some trouble with that Pale Dim. Cast Fire 1 on it and got to see why you don't cast elemental spells on a Pale Dim. But luckily, ndoto gets through.
Yeah, Pale Dim, a big fan of the counters. No elemental spells, no summons. They're both bad ideas against Pale Dim.
Rex finding the first boss. It's some dolls blocking his way. He did just pick up a Gaia Drum, and he's going to use it right now.
Yeah, I think that will probably do enough here. This does split the HP here. Oh, it doesn't quite. Hopefully that Boreas gets tossed pretty soon after also to kind of knock all these dolls out of there.
And ndoto, meanwhile, using his Earth Crystal to rate that treasury, going to find that Moonveil to replace the one he used. So use your items.
Yep, I know that I always kept Mega Elixirs for far too long in other Final Fantasy games, way past the point when it would have been useful, so do remember to toss your items. Eddie doesn't like big dolls, swings for 2 shots of 2,500 each. Big doll will go broke.
Yeah, there's a creepy doll, but there's a spoony bard. Creepy doll goes boom. And Rex is through. And there's an evil wall at the Golbez spot, and all things considered, not a bad place to find the evil wall.
No, not at all. And I really just hope that we get to the future soon where we have 3 Tellas in the party.
Double Tella and a Yang for Rexbanner at the top of Zot. He has to kick one of them out.
Yeah, neither one who I'm really looking for to fill out the party. Yang is probably slightly more interesting to me than second Tella. We also do have a Cat Claw. Ooh, and he comes baked into the Thunderclaw. That's nice.
Always nice when he has that Thunderclaw. And Dodo, meanwhile, after checking the treasury, going straight up Zot. Not the most efficient play. I wonder if he feels behind or if he feels like he needs to put some characters.
I could definitely see feeling behind. I still don't think ndoto has claimed that Porum as a white mage, so could be looking for Rosa or Fu up here, looking just for a little bit more power, knowing that doesn't even know yet that a hook is on the way. So we will see. But hey, there's Noctimam, so this is a great choice for both runners to go up here.
This is almost too easy. Objectives are just falling into our runners' laps here.
Yeah, if this is a Pinktail, that's all we actually need.
Yeah, if Earth Crystal has Pinktail, we have Go mode, and our runners just need to figure out how to get levels.
I mean, we also have that D-Mess too, just hiding, waiting for us to go visit Rydia's mom, and maybe she's got a Pinktail.
Octomam crumbles away.
Tella doing some vanilla Meteor strats here at the Mega Sisters spot, throwing down the rocks, all the dolls go bye-bye. You love to see it.
When the old man comes through, he really comes through. Rosa's going to learn Exit wherever she is in the world. On Rexbanner's side.
Oh my goodness.
This is Go mode. Without going underground, without going to the moon. This is insane.
I'm just like, so if either runner knows their Eddie strats, has enough money to sell stuff, and with the with whatever we get off that pigtail, probably would have enough money, and we get an anchor out of the character waiting for us on the hook path. This could just be all people need, but otherwise, I'm terrified of my runner if I don't have all that stuff ready.
Yeah, if you don't have your Eddie strats down, then I mean, Eddie strats in very brief involves you walling up your Eddie, forcing Z to cast Nuke against that wall, and then hiding for the big bangs. It's very technical, it's very precise, and if our runners haven't practiced a lot, it's very daunting.
Yeah, I know I'm way out of practice for him. This is a flag set that has strongly precluded people wanting or needing to do Eddie strats. Normally, the amount of objectives you have to do to get into Go mode makes it long enough that you're just going to grind anyway, or that you've already ground up just by virtue of having to beat lots of things. But here we have one of those seeds, which is like, no, it'd actually be a really good idea.
Rexbanner gets his crystal at 32 minutes. You'd love to see it.
I mean, it would have been nicer to get a crystal sword, but I guess we'll take a Dragoon Spear.
Yeah. For the cane that we don't have, really. And we'll see if we're in a position to get him. No, neither runner has checked that hook route yet.
No, but it is really nice that we do have the hook, because this shop here does have two chances. It was guaranteed two items of the tier where sirens and coffins and stuff do exist. So we do have two possible chances to get sirens here. It's the individual shop that is most likely to have them for easy grinding. Meanwhile, ndoto is through also. That Octomam completes objection number 4. We'll be getting a pink tail also soon, but then we'll have to go back and do that twin harp.
Yeah, we'll have to route that back in, and we'll see if he feels like he needs to climb back up Hobbs or do anything else on the overworld before he tackles that twin heart.
But that is no sirens here, just hourglasses and elixirs, so probably going to be heading underground to try and find some way to grind up.
Yeah, Rex doesn't look like he... Rex is going to check the character here, and then we'll see where his heart is set from there.
Now, who do you want to see here, the boss?
Well, that's either a ruby or an element. A vanilla ruby would be a little tricky. Elements could be dealt with much easier, although with an Eddy Spoon, both the difficulty factor decreases quite a bit.
Yeah, shouldn't be too frightening either way. But that Sid also does give us, because we should have a Dwarfax still, someone who's going to be a very slow agility anchor. Would be around like 3 or 4 agility, I think. So also very, very, very handy if you wanted to do Eddy strats. I would still be terrified about doing them, but it does make it a little bit easier. We do have that ninja hat also on Edward, so he would be a pretty speedy boy at this point.
Yeah. Now, the other issue besides practice and doing Eddy strats in this situation, the S quarter flag is on items you find. Although loot is pretty plentiful and fairly good, the items you find only sell for a quarter of their listed price instead of half. So money can be a little hard to come by.
It can, and you do need an awful lot of Star Veils for it, so that might preclude it enough that it's just not reasonable for runners to even try it. I haven't actually done the math to see what exactly you need. That Dragoon Spear will sell for a pretty penny, so it does do a lot of financing for you, but it's a good question whether we actually have enough loot in the coffers in order to sell out and cash in for Star Veils enough to complete the seed. If we were to do Eddy strats, which I'm not sure either runner knows or is comfortable with.
Rex is doing a world shopping tour, though. Nothing in Agert. The city has cabins and silk webs, but not what he's looking for.
Nope, and if you were doing pure Eddy strats and you didn't already have a silk web in the inventory, you'd definitely be buying one of them, because you do need to throw a silk web in order to make sure that you can go fast enough. So that could mean that this isn't Eddy strats, but we'll just see is what purchases Rexbanner goes to make.
I'm pretty sure that both runners have found a silk web in their early game looting. Thought about vampires. Vampires could be helpful for other low-level strategies, right?
Yep, could use them for 1200 HP strats. This isn't the team I would probably favor for those, although we have Axis Sid, we have Cecil. I don't remember if Rex has kept Yang or Sid, but I would generally want to do a little bit more without.
Rex
for them.
Rex's party is Yang, Sid, Cecil, Tella, and Eddy.
Yeah, we just would need to get underground and get some levels for them. So this isn't a terrible party for it, actually, now that I see the full composition. Yeah, Expert Wolf in chat asking how long has Rex been in Go mode? It was, what, 32 minutes that we had the crystal?
32 minutes, Rex got his crystal, having already had the pass.
Yeah, so I mean, this could also just be blind. I don't know what I actually want to do. Panic. It's definitely. I don't think it is that though, just because of how focused it is on looking at shops. We found some Star Veils. We're selling some things,
And it looks like Rex is gonna go for it.
Yep, and there is that Silk in the inventory that we talked about earlier. So Indeed does have it, but this is a fire sale.
Yep, sell everything that's not nailed down to raise enough uh, money. Scrounge in the couch cushions, wherever you gotta go.
But does reset back out. Reese Wolf in chat saying they sold the Dwarf Axe, so that could be it. Might have been something that absolutely would be required. I think with the current agility situation that you do need that Dwarf Axe to make Edward as fast as he can possibly be, what we call relative agility 1.
Yeah, the Dwarf Axe gives -5 to your agility, and that Sid in the middle is going to need as low an agility as is possible.
Yeah, starting Sid starts with 9, so with that Dwarf Axe you'd have 4 agility, which means Edward only has to have 11 or more agility in order to be relative agility 1, because it is more than 2.5 times the agility of your anchor.
And Dodo, meanwhile, gets through. That Demus will get his hook, and now has the realization that he is just one pigtail away, turn in away from having Gomez himself.
Yeah, and now just wondering, oh shoot, when did my opponent do this? If they struggled a little bit on some of the things that I did, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? This is a terrifying spot as a runner to be in.
Yeah, there's something to be said for these Ultra Jetty seeds that it just terrifies runners, and it's a lot of fun to watch, but it's nerve-wracking for sure.
Yeah, and that was a lot of Star Veils purchased by Rexbanner. I think it was 30 or 40 that I counted. Definitely plenty sufficient for Edward to go through this. Now he's just looking forward to about 15 to 25 minutes of doing the same steps over and over again and not screwing them up, which is a little terrifying.
And especially uh, for a strategy that's as time intensive and really very precise as Eddie Strats is, you need to take some time to steady yourself. You need to make sure that everything is in order before you step in.
Yeah, so you kind of gave a little bit of a rundown earlier, but in a little more detail, we'll be looking to throw the Silk Web on Zeromus to make Zeromus relative agility 2 to give us a little bit more time to actually get in our actions. Hopefully, Rexbanner did move his battle speed to battle speed 3, because again, you're buying time for human reaction to enable you to get your inputs in. And then we'll be alternating between throwing on a Star Veil and then I think just tossing the crystal. I don't think we have a Dancing Dagger or any of the other items to trigger a counter nuke from Zeromus, which then will bounce off of that Star Veil and hit Zeromus back in the face, and then we'll hide Edward again to dodge that big bang. Nice Pancras in chat asking if signs are spotted. We haven't gone underground, and there were Hourglass 2s and Elixirs in the Emblem shop.
And so, less than 42 minutes into the seed, a little bit earlier than we anticipated, I think, we have to ask this question. Whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
I hope it's a good butt.
Because we're going to be looking at it for a while. And Dodo going to discover his Sid.
His Sid, his unknown as of yet form of leg, and we'll see what ndoto does with this information. I have no idea who Jess Bromus is, but it's very pink and purple.
Yes, it's a very visually appealing butt.
Can you say that in commentary?
I just did, and
Okay.
I haven't been smited yet. So
Looks like Dragon Quest 11, according to X-Men Kraz. But there is that Edward hiding. I think that Yang already took the counter nuke. I'm just gonna throw out Feld with Tella because he doesn't matter and isn't gonna do anything. And now it is Edward's show for the rest of the seed for Rexbanner, hopefully. Cecil screwing up the plans a little bit by living through that Big Bang, but we'll do a little bit of chip damage.
yeah, you could save a Big Bang cycle, that little bit of damage. And Dodo, meanwhile, going to dive that hook route.
Yeah, if you're not comfortable with Eddie strats or don't have them in your wheelhouse at all, that is the absolute correct choice to do. They are hard to pull off for the first time, especially in a race on a restream. So just going to get levels the traditional way is a very, very good call. People have absolutely lost races by thinking they could do Eddie strats and not being able to pull them off in time, just because one mistake 15 minutes in costs you now 15 minutes, you have to redo it all. So it is a lot of work to do this.
Oscar is pointing out in the chat something really important. These flags have really kind of deprioritized Eddie strats, at least so far. And to have this in your back pocket and to be able to pull it out in an elimination game, whatever happens from here, Rexbanner deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see Rexbanner mostly. Ooh, that is going to be one reset and one try again. That is one thing that Cecil did mess up a little bit by Edward hiding out a little bit longer. Did actually give that Star Veil a little bit of time to wear off before Eddie could get out and replenish it. But hopefully we see some adjustments or just some remembering that Eddie does need to refresh his own Star Veil. It doesn't last forever. Even though he avoids Big Bangs, he does not avoid the steady march of the ATB timer.
No, I don't think any of us can avoid the steady march of time, but in Eddie's case, time comes up faster than you think.
It keeps on ticking into the future.
And Dodo takes care of the Mad Ogre chest and missed what he got out of that chest.
I think
Just
it was
an apple.
yeah, just a silver apple.
Which he'll eat just to avoid the clogging of the inventory space. At least that's what I do.
And this guy corrects me, says it's a golden apple. Dubword47 in chat asking, do all magic walls last the amount of turns? They don't. The Moon Veil lasts a little bit longer. Star Veil lasts a good long time, and then wall cast from one of your own mages does last amount of ticks based on their white magic stat. So it's a little variable for all of them. Meanwhile, we do have the officer soldier fight here at the first part of the hook route, so this should be pretty free and easy.
Yep, especially with that spoonward. We picked up a couple hourglasses in that Evelyn shop, and the main question is how much experience he wants to get out of this fight.
Well, however much he wants to get, he's going to get 0 because this is King Queen spot.
That's true.
Unfortunately.
That's true. I think I've just internalized that the King Queen spot does give EXP because it seems like I'm fighting the Alt Gauntlet every time I'm down here.
That would be one nice way to have an Alt Gauntlet here, is just so you get that XP. It does throw a life potion, so the life glitch in Free Enterprise is turned on. Enemies have a 0 vitality stat, so that when you throw a life pot, they get resurrected and then instantly die again, because when you're resurrected from a life pot or a life 1 potion, you get 5 times your vitality stat, and 5 times 0 counts fingers is 0.
Unfortunately, it doesn't matter in this instance because the Life Glitch just exists to get you more EXP, and there's no EXP to be had there.
Yep. And Pepita in chat asking if 12k strats would be viable for Rexbanner. With some more HP on his side, they absolutely would be. But with no, without having 12k HP on anyone, is not going to be viable. Really, Cecil is a little low for it. Would just need some more levels, so it could be done. But looks like he's just going to continue trying the Eddie strats.
Pancras pointing out that the 1200 strats do require vampires. Vampires are for sale. They are in Basidia, I believe.
Yeah, they were for sale for sure in an overworld shop, but Rexbanner would have to go back to an earlier save before selling out the farm for Star Veils in order to afford some of those vampires too. Yeah, Rex did locate them before finding Star Veils, so Rexbanner does know that vampires are available.
Yeah, Rex has left no overworld store unturned. At least item shop.
But we do get a nice dose of vanilla leg here. Hopefully the ndoto is able to get some people healed up, get that Tella back up maybe, because this is a whole lot of Fire 2 counters he's eating. Gonna get glared at pretty soon.
Yeah, this could get dicey real fast with your only white mage on the floor.
Udo, I still believe, does have Porm waiting for him on Mount Hobbs, where Rexbanner has decided Porm is not going to be staying on this team.
Yeah, so ndoto has gone up Hobbs, didn't make it past Mom Bomb the first time, but knows, or should know, that that the kid is waiting for him up there should he need her.
Yeah, and I don't think we did enough armor weapon shop checking to know if we would have an Ice Claw for this Yang. That would be something that would be of probably significant interest to ndoto at this point, because a nice clawed Yang would do some really good work against this Rubicon.
Very true. Rex starveiled just about everybody in the party before throwing out the silk web on this particular Z fight.
Okay, looking to get a little bit extra damage. We'll pick up between 1,500 and 2,000 or so off of that nuke. 1,800 right in a good range there. Look like trying to just do a little small variant of 200 HP strats, just to pump out a little extra damage before getting in there. Not unreasonable.
Yeah, throws a Boreas will get a new counter against the only one up who has a Star Veil, so a little bit extra damage. Every little bit helps.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing with the Eddie Strats fight is that you are always wanting to react to Zeromus. Like, you see the Big Bang being cast, so then you unhide, and then if you know whether or not you're going to get Virus or Black Hold, you decide whether or not you're throwing the Crystal again or throwing up a Star Veil. And here, indeed, we throw up the Star Veil correctly. We'll then be throwing the Crystal at Zeromus, or any sort of magical attack, to get that counter nuke, and they'll be hiding again as soon as the shake happens. That time opting to maybe didn't feel like the timing was right. This is such a timing feel kind of thing too, that if you know that you are not on pace, it's better to hide rather than try and squeeze in all damage, because squeezing in damage and being wrong about it absolutely kills you every time.
Yeah, better to be safe than sorry, and sometimes you just gotta go with your gut. This Rubicon, meanwhile, is still being pretty mean to ndoto, but ndoto has 4 of his characters up.
Yeah, the nice thing about Ruby is that you don't get those fire 2s unless you punch him with a normal fight command. So I'd really like to see Yang using his power rather than just punching. Um, and then the glare and the physical attack can only take out 1 or 2 people at a time. So you can often just kind of wait this Rubicon out. But you do need to be judicious about how often you're eating fire 2 counters.
Yeah, for anybody just joining us, the boss sprite, the Z sprite, is from Dragon's Quest XI, which I am delighted to now know, and I did not before.
Yes, we are learning today here up in the booth. I am often learning about all of the wonderful different butts that we have to kick. Many of them I do not know anything about, so it is great to just get my RPG boss information filled out a little bit more. Rubicon glaring down Edward at ndoto's screen, gonna get life back up. Both runners just kind of in a long, slow pattern for what's going on for them.
Yeah, this Rubicon fight really turning into a battle of attrition.
Ooh, and ndoto must have heard me because that was a power punch from Yang, doing more damage for it, but also not getting a counter. So very nice.
Welcome to Commander Leonhardt and his raiding party. We're in a seed that had go mode for Rexbanner in 32 minutes. Rex is doing Eddie strats on Z, and Dodo looking to get some more levels on his party.
Yep, we started with Atella, we started with an Edward, and Vigan gave us a spoon, and then it was just off to the races from there.
Yeah, the King of Fabul gave us a pass. The Twin Harp and Hook and Pinktail were found in short order.
Yeah, Underground not required at all. ndoto is doing this just to get levels. Probably either does not or does not feel comfortable with Edward strats. Rexbanner had to get a little bit of a refresher, I think, from the beginning. This is now, I believe, the 3rd time through, and this one is looking noticeably better. The inputs are pretty solid so far.
Yeah, first couple of times, Z was a bit rude, and he was hit hard in one of them by a Cecil lasting a bit too long, which kind of threw off his inputs. But and Dodo threw Rubicon.
Yeah, nicely done. That's a good, solid 25,000 experience on his team. Going to now be probably going underground and hoping to all goodness to find some sirens and a way to kill dragon eggs.
Yes, and Dodo will happily fall down that pitfall because there are 3 shop checks, and then Dodo, I think, really wants some sirens, and has 7 key items but won't care. Or 6 key items, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, the one problem with having to get sirens when you only have this many key items is that you have to buy a bunch more in order to get up to very comfortable Z levels, but also could be thinking about 1200 HP strats that really came into Zilch and Mechalink were the ones to Zilch had pioneered it. Mechalink did some expansion of it. Some other members of the community also continued to expand on the strats, but really allow any single character or any group of characters that have 1200 HP to survive all the way through this Romus fight, kind of like the Edward strats, but a little less input intensive in terms of making sure you hide and Starveil and stuff all at the right times. There are a few different variants for it, but really you just need 1200 HP on people and a bunch of money to buy Starveils and magic damaging items. Vampires are great for it, but we'll see what ndoto finds here in these shops and checks. Yeah, and newbie4 and forward chat asking, does virus gradually decrease HP when inflicted? It does indeed. It does inflict the sap status, which does continually drain MP. And community member in Venerable has done that as a Z kill. He put his emulator, when he was playing an emulator, on fast forward, and it was I think 17 hours of real time in order to kill Z that way. It is not reasonable for a race, but is absolutely possible. Also, ndoto finds a magma key sitting there in the Fey March.
Hey, thanks.
We could drop it down a well and say, well, that's gone.
We could. And we could do that just for the memes. That's a CPU and an Odin in the Fey March. And Dodo checked it out. Not really sure if he has any intention of fighting them unless there are no sirens.
Yeah, I think I'm not fighting either of them unless I need them for a Darkness Crystal in order to continue to grind. They are not going to be fast enough to get really due for XP at this point. Dwarf Castle's not a bad place to go if you want some XP, because you also get another character. Maybe hope to get Edge in case we don't find any sirens in any shops, because Edge does have the steal command, and you can steal sirens from alerts here in Lower Babel.
Yep, and there are 4 trap chests with alerts in Lower Babel, so you're bound to find one sooner or later. And Dodo continuing to loot out. I did not see what was in the Fey March shop, the item shop.
I did not either, but we did not have a fire sale for sirens, so I'm assuming that there were not sirens.
Did a lot of checking in weapon and armor shops, however. Didn't find anything he really wanted to commit to.
Yeah, nothing super compelling. The Heron Robe is going to sell pretty well. We do have Escorter on, as we mentioned earlier, so while that you purchase it for 66,000, it's going to sell for like 16, 17,000-ish. I'm not going to do more precise math on stream, but that's the gist.
Dodo did do a job dwarf check. It was a paste up worker, I think. I'm not quite sure what that is.
Neither am I, but maybe chat knows. Newbie 404, Z has, depending on how you want to count, between 61,000 and 100-some thousand. Z does do a refill at a certain point when you do direct damage, but the entire point of Eddie strats is, or at least some of it, is going to be that you don't get that refill. Box fun are nice, but those aren't sirens.
Yeah, the reason Z only starts off with approximately 65,000 is just the Super Nintendo couldn't handle a boss having over 100,000, so that kind of automatic refill basically gives Z double his listed HP, and one of the ways that the Eddie strats works is we just short circuit that.
Yep, we just make Zeromus slowly punch himself in the face. Some viruses get reflected back too, and it's just a little bit of time, a little bit of time. One thing that you can look for in order to speed this up is some vampires early, or a dancing dagger. Those are both faster animations than the crystal that are happening and do a little bit of chip damage, so that's very, very nice. You're just looking to reduce all these animations as much as possible, really.
Welcome into the Raiders from Randomania 3. Hope that was a good race you just came in from. Please don't spoil it here. But in this race, Rexbanner had go mode at 32 minutes with all objectives done and a pass. No underground, no darkness. Decided to go for Eddie strats on his 3rd attempt. Now this one going well. I don't know precisely where he is in the process, but it's been as smooth as these things can go so far.
Yeah, it's looking good, and we do have sirens. Still enough to get 10. I don't know if that's going to be enough for ndoto to get all the way to the levels that he might be looking for Zeromus, but we will find out. Yeah, and Local Trey saying, doing a little bit of math and saying 122k means 3060 reflects. Yeah, normally you're looking at probably buying 30-ish Star Veils. The reflected nukes should do between 15 and 2200-ish. You're also going to get some free extra damage from reflecting the viruses that come out. So about 30 Star Veils is pretty much right. And hopefully you have some things that can help speed it up too, like we talked about earlier with those viruses or a dancing dagger in order to proc the counter while doing a little bit of extra tip damage.
Rex does have 27 Star Veils left. I believe he bought 40 or so when he sold the farm.
Yeah, I think it was 4 stacks of 10. and Dodo
That's
continuing
about
to do
40.
checks. Yeah, checks out. And Dodo go visit Yang, probably just looking for extra key items maybe to make those star rails stretch a little bit. You do get double experience as soon as you hit to 10 key items. So that could be there. Could also just be looking for like a moon access. We don't see very many giant grinds here in this flag set because we have both vanilla giant turned on and no slingshot experience. So vanilla game, you can't leave the giant until you go through the back beating both bosses. Normally in For Enterprise, you can just walk back out the front if you want. However, we've turned that off in this flag set.
Yeah, so once you go into the giant, you have to defeat the two bosses, two of the hardest bosses in the game, just to get out. So it makes things a lot less convenient. That plus the ready availability of sirens means we've seen a lot more eggs and King Ryus in these flags.
Yep, Trevelyan. Yeah, Star Veils or Thorages would speed it up on the first part. You do need to make sure that you don't do any direct damage to Zeromus after you hit about 40,000 experience. Oh, hey, that's a crystal sword. I heard you like crystal swords.
Hello. It immediately slaps it on over the anguished screams of Asuka to sell it. And Dodo found a crystal sword from Sheila that she just had lying around. We'll see if this makes him more confident in what he's about to do.
Yeah, we will see what he's about to do. Looks like he's going to remember that D-Mist. I'm not sure that Rexbanner ever checked this D-Mist because
He never
Rexbanner
did.
did not need to check this D-Mist. Could be looking for some Darkness Crystal, get up to the moon, get a little bit better experience there. But we just get a Ninja Star.
For our ninja, who is not here.
He's hiding. He's doing good sneak stuff.
That's how you can tell he's a really good ninja.
Yeah, he's never there until you got a sword for him, maybe, or maybe the sword's in your stomach. I don't know.
See, it works the opposite for me. When I have a sword for him, he never shows up. But and Dodo going down to the Egg Peninsula.
Yep, going to be fighting a whole bunch of eggs. These eggs do. There's a couple different varieties of eggs, but the ones here are an egg encompassing a yellow dragon, which has only 1,800 hit points and gives you 34,000 experience. I'm doing some more finger math, and that seems like a good deal, don't you, Sheep Launcher?
Yeah, I think that will do nicely, and he gets one egg down.
Decides to back off and go somewhere else. Maybe he's thinking about doing 1,200 HP strats. Papazito in chat asking essentially if it's landing on this little ledge. It's one of the few places that you can actually summon those eggs that turn into those yellow dragons for that experience gain. There's another place a little bit below Sylph Cave that also works. Looks like ndoto might be going to get that Porum.
Whether for an anchor or for white magic, I guess we'll see. He already has a perfectly good anchor in that fallen down Sid, so you have to think he wants Porum for her healing abilities.
Yeah, I would definitely be thinking that she's going to replace Tella. Yep, indeed, that's what looks like is happening. She will eventually be more useful than Tella in the Z fight. We'll get more HP growth, but it does take a while to get there.
And this is where the lack of slingshotting really hurts. In other flag sets, you could go to that D machine if we had a Darkness Crystal and get her double her experience based on the fact that she's such a lower level than everybody else. But here, she's just going to gain experience the same way no matter what levels everybody else is.
Yep, but no trouble this time with Mom Bomb, no explode phase. Mom Bomb pops up and then disappears. And while we've been watching ndoto cover some ground, it looks like chat is having some palpitations here with Rexbanner's Z fight. It looks like it's stabilized at this point, but definitely some people in chat thinking that maybe he got a little off pace. I think Rexbanner was on Battlefield 4 also for this, so it does give him a little bit extra leeway. Not tons, but the slightest small amount of extra leeway in terms of getting some inputs in.
And while both runners are doing their very precise inputs, I do want to thank once again our tracker Starman, our restreamer FF4FE for rolling this glory to Edward Seed, and Antidale, my co-commentator, for really putting on the mortarboard and telling us everything we need to know about these esoteric strats and these potential pathways.
I'm here to stand on the milk crate and shout at the masses, I guess. Also, big shout out to Scala Kitty, who does so much work behind the scenes in all of this. She is everywhere in the tournaments that we run, making sure that everything goes well and is there to push stuff back up on the rails when they've kind of shifted off. And of course, all the rest of the admin team also doing a wonderful job too with all of that work.
Rex has been in this fight, would you say 20 minutes?
Ish. It's a long fight. I think sometimes that I stop thinking about time when I'm doing these. Also, you just hit it until it's over.
Yeah, if you start thinking about anything other than what's in front of you, it's a really good way to get into a lot of trouble. Still has 20 Star Veils left, so should have enough supply.
Yeah, I think there's no worry about the Star Veil count running out. It's just going to be making sure you keep doing the menuing for another, I don't know, probably 10 Star Veils worth. Yeah, I think Rex started his Z fights somewhere in the 40 minutes. It had a couple of things that's a crumble.
That is a crumble. Rexbanner has done it.
GG's to Rexbanner for, I think, the first Eddie strats completed of the tournament.
Got an Edward and a spoon at the beginning, and that was all that he needed in an official time of 1:10:35. GG's to Rexbanner, who will continue on as at 2-2, still with a chance to make the bracket stages.
And we are now joined by Rexbanner, winner of today's race, and a person still continuing on in the tournament. GG's, Rex.
GG. Thank you. Good evening, folks. How's it going?
Good. How are your nerves?
Better now. They were a little on edge there.
So you got go mode at 32 minutes. Actually, the crystal at 32 minutes with a pass. What were your immediate thoughts then?
I have no anchor and I have an eddy. I need an anchor or a cursed ring at this point. And Star Veils, but I know Star Veils have to be on the overworld, so that was sort of the least of the worry, but I was just worried about having someone so I could do eddy strats.
Yeah, so did you breathe a huge sigh of relief at seeing that Sid?
Very huge sigh of relief. Then when I finally found the Star Veils and I sold the Dwarf Axe, I almost cried and had to reset.
Yeah, but luckily you had a pretty close save, so we're able to get that back without too much of a time loss.
Yeah. I was very happy for that closer save.
Well, you've done quite a few of these of seeds using this flag set. Is this your first Eddy strat using these flags?
Using these flags, it is my first Eddy strats. I've only ever actually done Eddy strats once before.
Well, after a rough start, you really settled down, and it was actually very nice to watch. It looked like you were in a really good rhythm, really intuitive.
Yeah, I find once you get the rhythm, it's not too bad. I did have chat caught it the one mess up where after virus I hit instead of doing the crystal, and it sort of threw the rhythm off. But luckily it was on the virus phase, so I knew when I came back out he was just going to black hole. I wasn't coming back into a virus.
Yeah, that's really good to know, to kind of remember that and to just react well to it. It's kind of easy to panic on those, I've found myself, but well done at just surviving through that in an elimination match. Pretty much fed Z almost more time than he took for the rest of the seed.
Yeah, I was a little worried. Didn't know if my opponent knew Eddie strats or not, and then with that first wipe and then not getting the Star Veil off on the second time, I felt like I could have been behind. That was a lot of time loss. So,
Well, I saw some people in chat saying that you should go to brackets for this match alone. Would you be in favor of that?
no. As much as I'd like to get to brackets, I'm doing this because I enjoy it, and I want the experience. Like, racing is a new thing to me. I generally played these seeds a little more casual in some way. I play harder flag sets, but I don't race for time. I try to keep my time up, but I don't go for the speedy runs. So I'm still trying to learn a few more of the quicker routes and get out of some bad habits of farming too much. So I want to keep doing these races just to work on that part. I want to break some bad habits I got from my casual runs and just get a little bit more speedy.
Yeah, how has that process been going for you so far? Do you feel like you've made some good progress? Are there any hints you can give to the audience for some things that you've found that were bad habits of yourself that you think people might want to know about to help speed up their own gameplay?
One thing I found that helped me out a lot that is looting. Like, once you feel you're set with your team, you don't have to keep looting and looking for stuff. You waste a lot of time running around opening every chest, going searching for that, one X-Cal in a trap chest when you have a defense sword that will work for now. You eventually, like with this flag set, with having get the forge, you'll eventually get that X-Cal. I don't feel like wasting time looking for loot is always the best, and that's a habit I had to break of mine. I was really bad for going through like Eblin Castle trap chest to try to find that X-Cal for a Cecil.
Well,
Yeah,
that is very
Go ahead,
solid
Sheep Launcher.
advice, yes. I think we were about to say the same thing. Well, I'm glad your heart has gone back into your chest, it sounds like. Do you have any final thoughts on this seed, Rex?
I would like to thank Oscar for the seed. This was a great seed. This is the fastest seed I've had in this flag set. And, what can you ask for more from Oscar than an Edward with a spoon start and Eddie strats? Like, it was a great seed. I actually enjoyed it.
Well, that is great. It was a joy watching you. GG's again. Good luck to you in the rest of the tournament. Is there anyone you're looking forward to maybe facing in that 2-2 round for next week?
I'm not sure. I'm just looking forward to anyone. Yeah, I don't really have my eyes set on anyone. I just want to keep going and having fun with it.
That is a great approach. Sheep Launcher, do you have any other questions?
No, I hope you enjoy your bananas kaboom, and thanks for a really strong run, and best of luck the rest of the way.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you for the commentary on this. Thank you for Oscar for the rebroadcast. And was it Antidale on? Oh no, Antidale. Never mind. Sorry.
Sorry, Starman is the one who's doing the tracking.
Starman for the tracking. I am terrible with names. I'm sorry, folks. But thank you very much.
Thank you, and have a great evening.
Thank you. You as well.
GG's again to Rexbanner, our first place finisher tonight. And it looks like ndoto has gotten his grind finished and is heading up to open that pass door for himself.
Yeah, we've got some pretty good levels in everyone. Porm is a little low, but we've definitely seen plenty of runners. PK4787 last night, some other runners too. Also, going into Z fights with Porm with only Cure 3, she learns Cure 4 at level 48, which feels like an eternity, especially from when Rosa learns it, which is noticeably sooner. Porm at 1300 HP is a little bit scary to go into a Z fight with because you pretty much need to nerf every Big Bang that she would face in order for her to stay alive. But does have plenty of Baka Swing wine, 21 in that inventory. My goodness.
Yep, it seems like ndoto's strategy is pretty self-explanatory. It is worth pointing out that that getting into a Z fight at 120 on these flags for most races would be pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're not comfortable with those pretty advanced strats Rexbanner pulled out for Eddie, it's about the time that you're going to do, because you just have to find those sirens. And this hook seed that was absolutely forced to be a hook. It takes time to get underground. It takes time to find sirens and grind up. There's just a lot to do. Even if you do have go mode half an hour ago, and now you're probably like at this point, if ndoto does have the Discord open, does know that the race has already been lost. But even if you didn't, you have to not feel comfortable with this. Like even as Rex said that he wasn't comfortable with where he was in time because he just didn't know where his opponent was. These jet seeds are so scary.
Yeah, and especially these one-on-ones, it's so tough to know with any certainty how your opponent is doing. You can ascribe superhuman abilities to them, like I tend to do to my opponents, but you just don't know, and it's really tough to metagame that out in that way. And by the time ndoto committed to getting underground, it was too late for him to back out and do any strats, even if he wanted to.
Yeah, with jet seeds like this, you just kind of choose a direction and commit, because backtracking is absolutely just handing your opponent time, and you just can't afford it.
Yeah, that's the thing on most seeds, but on jet seeds especially, is once you pick a direction, you kind of have to stay committed to it.
Yeah, you're right. That is some very good general advice, to just commit to whatever direction you've chosen. But it just amplified here and magnified in these jet seeds where there isn't a whole lot of margin for error.
Rex playing some heart music, but ndoto has 21 Bacchus wines. Can we see quad here?
I mean, you could get Sid involved, but I think I would rather keep him around, especially if I'm nerfing Big Bangs, as a potential person to resurrect, say, Porum, once that Big Bang happens, or to just throw some life potions on stuff, would be what my usage for Sid.
And that Porum got targeted by that first counter nuke.
Yeah, very, very rude of Jesperomus.
ndoto going to leave her down until after the first Big Bang. Very defensible.
Yep, that Big Bang would have knocked her back on her face, so good idea. Eddie not having quite enough HP to survive even that nerf Big Bang. That is one of the problems with Spoonward. You kind of have to take him to a noticeably higher level, or just have good gear or get lucky on the rolls in order for him to not die to even nerf Big Bangs.
Going to commit to getting that Eddie back up. But that Crystal Sword Cecil also doing work.
Yeah, oof, 8k. That's a good swing.
That'll work.
Yeah, I'm putting in some good damage too with 3k. This is definitely doable. We'll just have to hopefully make sure that we don't get into any sort of bad situation with any Big Bangs wiping out a lot of the party.
Yeah, Big Bang into Meteo would be my immediate fear.
Yeah, that is always a terrifying thing, and just making sure that Porum is around to nerf Big Bangs. If Porum and Sid both go down to an unnerfed Big Bang, that's going to be a big problem for ndoto. It would probably require a reset.
Gonna try and nerf this coming Big Bang. Has a Silk Web queued up with that Sid.
I think that was the right timing.
When is the timing is kind of ephemeral on anything after the first toss. When is the right time?
Well, Zeromus, the script does a use shake effect and then does a wait and then sets the spell power to 32 and then immediately after that does a Big Bang. So you really want to do it in order to get the nerf. You have to do it in between that you set spell power to 32 or setting spell power for the Big Bang and using the Big Bang. So if you see the shake and then when you have relative 1 agility Zerkru's going, you can kind of wait until all of your Zerkrus have gone. And when it's Sid in that lead spot, I'm not entirely sure, but that's Dromus, so I can stop explaining things.
Yeah, and Dodo did nerf that Big Bang, and shortly thereafter knocked down that Z to finish in second place with a time of 1:23.41. GG's to ndoto.
GG's indeed. And I believe we'll have ndoto in for an interview shortly. And we are now joined by ndoto. GG's ndoto. That was a heck of a run for that fast of a seed. What do you feel?
Thank you so much. That was probably the jettiest seed that I've ever played in my career so far, honestly.
I think that was the jettiest crystal get I have seen in this flag set at all, by at least 10 minutes.
Yeah, that was...
the jettiest crystal set crystal get plus a pass. So you were all dressed up and needed someplace to get some levels.
Absolutely.
So what were your thoughts when you got that pigtail from Zot and knew that, well, that's go mode. I just have to go back and do the twin heart.
At that point, I was kind of expecting it, kind of. I just had a feeling that that's when it was all going to come together. I just struggled a little bit with what to do after that. I knew I wanted to get into the underground since Cave Eblin hadn't had sirens. So as soon as I got down there, I wanted to get the annoying one, Fey March, out of the way first. I probably should have gone Dwarf Castle and Tamra first for the faster checks for sirens. But all in all, that was a heck of a seed to play.
It sure was. You had a little bit of trouble on Hobbs with that Mom Bomb, but it worked out in your favor in the end because that Porum was still sitting up there for you to grind her up.
Yeah, my first trip out of the underworld, I forgot to go grab Porum to replace the Tella since I'd already picked up the Sid to use as an anchor. And then after I used my first siren, I realized it and I was like, crap, I need to go get her.
Yeah, but you did remember in good time, got her to 1300 HP. Was that a little bit nerve-wracking with such a low HP white mage on your team?
Definitely. That's why I wanted to make sure that I grabbed those Cure 3 potions from Troya before heading in.
Yeah, and they really helped as well.
Yeah, have you practiced much with those kind of low-level curative strats to feel comfortable with them, or was that kind of a first run-through with it?
That was kind of on the fly, but I'm definitely going to have to practice it more.
Yeah, to be fair, these flags have not really incentivized the low-level strats, so kind of pulling out everything in your bag of tricks for this particular seed, it's a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you are eliminated from advancing to the bracket stage, sadly. What have been your impressions of the tournament so far, the flags? How's your experience been?
I've absolutely loved the flag set for this tournament. It's been a whole lot of fun, and the runners that I've seen play and that I've gone up against myself have all been incredible so far. So I definitely expect great things to come through the rest of the Swiss rounds and the bracket stages.
Yep, and I do hope that you do continue to play if you're interested in continuing with on, because you do still have 2 more matches in the Swiss round that you can play, and hopefully continue to enjoy these flags.
Yep, I plan to.
Yeah, you can defeat me.
Is that a gauntlet that we've just thrown down between the two of you?
I don't know. The odds are in whoever's favor is drawn up against me. Well, and Dodo, any final thoughts on tonight's race, on the tournament as a whole?
My last thoughts on this race. I don't know why I felt the urge to go down into the Sylph Cave and then go check Sheila 1, but I'm really happy that that turned out to be a crystal sword.
Yeah, that worked out nicely.
Yeah. But the tournament on a whole has been great, and I definitely look forward to seeing this one, running it back and watching it over.
Yeah, it was definitely a good race. You kind of put yourself behind the 8 ball a little bit with that early bomb wipe that Rexbanner was able to avoid. But you raced well, and you definitely had a good plan. You stuck with your plan of just get underground, get sirens, get comfortable with stuff, and get going. So applaud you for that, and hope to see more of you in the future.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
GG's again, and Dodo.
Thanks so
Indeed.
much.
Well, we were saying this during the seed Antidale, but all you can say is that was a heck of a seed.
It sure was. That was a heck of a jet seed. Asuka has normally had a little bit of reputation for rolling, truly difficult bosses. But on this side, she decided to just give you everything in the world. Just go have fun with it, y'all. Just forget about that whole internal screaming and terror when you have go mode in 30 minutes and know what else to do.
Well, luckily, we won't have to wait all that long for more great free enterprise Lali-Ho League action. I'm just going to run down the schedule for tomorrow on the family of networks. Getting it started early with a whale of a matchup. It's Night Dew versus Microcorgs at 11 a.m. Eastern Time here on Free Enterprise. That's worth skipping work or school or nap time. Just tune in for that. Also on Free Enterprise at 5 p.m. Eastern, it's Rowdy Sniper versus Frankie Bones. At 7 p.m. Eastern on Randomania, one of the Randomania channels, it's Classy Badger versus Vitasia. At 8 p.m. Eastern on Randomania, another Randomania network, Sorbius versus Harumph. And the nightcap at 9 p.m. Eastern, back here on the Free Enterprise channel, Glory 14 versus Dr. Cossack, another heavyweight battle.